All right, welcome back to the channel. So, Tyson Fury beats Errol Spence Jr. for Ring Magazine Fighter of the Year, and Teofimo Lopez is named the co-winner. Like we did not know something like that was going to happen, but let's talk about this absolute ridiculous vote in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So, like I've been saying, Ring Magazine, ESPN are marketing departments for promoters. And here we have a situation where Ring Magazine, the supposed Bible of boxing, the bastion of knowledge of boxing, has Fighter of the Year and hands that award out in a way that you know they're going to do it, despite the fact that it is patently obvious, blatantly obvious, that the guys that they give the award to don't deserve it. Unless you believe that Ring Magazine is a PR agent for promoters, then it makes sense. So this year, Tyson Fury is named co-Fighter of the Year. In a year, and let's just be very straight with it, where everybody in boxing knows he cheated. Everybody knows he cheated. But regardless, even aside from the obvious fact that this man cheated in that fight, they never gave Deontay Wilder any credit whatsoever for the first win. So if for a whole year and a half, and they didn't, however long it was, they didn't give Deontay Wilder any credit, right? And said that he lost the first fight. That's why Tyson Fury was put as number one fighter by Ring Magazine, right? That's why they put him there, because they said he won the fight, and it's a waste of time to fight Deontay Wilder. So Tyson Fury goes in there, does exactly what they said he was going to do. Why should he be Fighter of the Year? What is exceptional about that? If Deontay Wilder's a bum, Deontay Wilder's not the best fighter, why should he get Fighter of the Year for that? It's ridiculous. But we all know the guy cheated with skin gloves, head wrenches, all kind of craziness, but okay. Tyson Fury gets Fighter of the Year. Co-Fighter of the Year is Teofimo Lopez. Who did what? He beat Vasily Lomachenko. That's it. He beat Vasily Lomachenko. Now, is that a great year for him? Yes, it is. But Jermall Charlo got his hands on 3 belts. No consideration for Jermall Charlo, right? Errol Spence Jr. overcame a massive, dang near life-ending injury, life-ending car accident to come all the way back, refuses to take refuses to take a tune-up fight, goes right to Danny Garcia. People are wondering whether the guy is going to be back at all, whether or not he's going to be, the person that they say that they thought he was beforehand, right? He comes back, looks better than he was before, dominates the fight. But he loses to Tyson Fury, who fought a guy that everybody thought he beat the first time. How does that work? Well, it works this way. Ring Magazine is owned by Oscar De La Hoya. It is a PR mechanism for a promoter. And the only people that were going to win that award this year are going to be people who are with Top Rank or people that are with Golden Boy. But Golden Boy's fighter this year can't win it because they don't have a fighter anymore. Canelo Alvarez left them. If Canelo Alvarez had beaten Callum Smith and he was still with Golden Boy, there would have been a great chance that the guy still would have got Trainer of the Year, Fighter of the Year. But let me just go back in history a little bit and tell you that this is not just a normal thing, right? Because you could say, well, Fanon, come on. Tyson Fury deserves it this year. You think Errol Spence Jr. deserves it, but come on, man. That doesn't mean that Ring Magazine is not a legitimate source for stuff like this because look at their long history. Exactly. Let's look back at their history. Let's look back to the year 2017 where the exact same thing happened, but much, much, much worse. 2017, Vasily Lomachenko won Fighter of the Year. Do you know who Vasily Lomachenko beat to win Fighter of the Year? He beat 3 people, only 2 of which were even in his weight class. One guy was 2 weight classes below him that moved up. Another guy was a guy that fought 1 class below and in the fight before lost the championship. And then the last guy, the third guy, was a journeyman named Jason Sosa that actually fought at 130, who got a draw against somebody that Vasily Lomachenko absolutely destroyed a year before that. 2017 was nothing but showcase fights for Vasily Lomachenko. But he won Fighter of the Year. Well, who else was fighting that year to say, well, maybe it's just your imagination, Fanon? Well, no, it's not. Because Andre Ward in 2017 beat Sergey Kovalev, somebody by knockout, after people had said the year before when they had a fight that was actually being promoted as pound for pound, right? The guy that was going to be the best fighter in the world, was it going to be, and this is hilarious, is it going to be the guy that is moving up from 168 to 175, or is it the Crusher who's already a big 175 pounder? Of course, it's up for grabs, even though Kovalev was much bigger than him. But somehow in the mind of Ring Magazine and, that was for pound. But when Andre Ward won it in 2016, did they give him pound for pound? No. He got dogged about taking a rematch. And when he took a rematch in 2017, he knocked Sergey Kovalev out. He did not win Fighter of the Year. And neither in 2017 did Terrence Crawford, who unified an entire division, the 140-pound division, and was the first guy to do it since 2000, for 10 years or whatever, since the fight between Jermaine Taylor and Bernard Hopkins. Something that had not happened in a decade, right, was one competitor, Terrence Crawford. Then the second guy was Andre Ward, who should have become the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world by overcoming a much bigger man in a rematch that people said that he thought that he lost. He avenges it by knockout. But they decide to give it to Vasily Lomachenko, who beat Miguel Mariaga. You've never heard of him unless you're a hardcore boxing fan, but he's a 126-pounder. He wasn't in the 130-pound division. He fought Guillermo Rigondeaux, who's a Hall of Fame fighter, but is right now campaigning at 118 pounds. Vasily Lomachenko is a 135-pounder as we speak. That, my friends, is a gigantic size advantage. And that was the best fight he had all year, because the other one was a journeyman in Jason Sosa. But yet he won Fighter of the Year over Terrence Crawford, once-in-a-generation accomplishment, and Andre Ward, who solidified pound for pound by overcoming a pound for pound monster that actually killed somebody in the ring by the name of Sergey Kovalev. The same Sergey Kovalev that years later people were using to celebrate Canelo Alvarez. Do you not see the pattern here? But let's go past just one more example of people that won the event. Now notice, I'm telling you that Tyson Fury cheated this year and he won Fighter of the Year. Like everything else with Tyson Fury, though, when I say that he's cheating and he's gotten something he didn't deserve, all we've got to do is see if it happened before in the past. And guess what? It did. In 2015, Tyson Fury won Ring Magazine Fighter of the Year after he beat Vladimir Klitschko. Do you know what happened in 2015 when the same fights that he won Fighter of the Year for? He tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs and served a 2-year retroactive suspension. But yet that year, he won Fighter of the Year from Ring. Should be almost a badge of honor for Errol Spence or anybody else that they did not win this award. It is a complete and utter sham. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.